Hello and welcome back to my channel and my Macbeth Revision Series. So today we'll be going through the character of Lady Macbeth, who generates a lot of different opinions. And if we look at the character of Lady Macbeth, what's interesting is that she contrasts greatly to Macbeth in that she isn't given the same introduction and build up like Macbeth. So before we've even met Macbeth, he's described and his reputation is already established as this brave figure within society. And the audience is straight away in awe of Macbeth. Whereas with Lady Macbeth, we're straight away introduced to her through her speech, through her actions, through her thoughts, especially in her soliloquy, which we will go through today. And what's important to think about as well is during the Jacobean era, the status of women was very low in society. Women didn't have a voice in society. They weren't able to vote. They weren't able to really get educated. So there weren't many high expectations of women during the Jacobean era. Their main role and purpose was to fulfill the rights of the husband and to take care of the household. So Lady Macbeth is someone who challenges these stereotypes, and within her presentation, we'll be questioning what Shakespeare's motives were through her depiction in this manner. So if we get straight into it. So in the opening scene where Lady Macbeth is described in scene 5, she reveals her thoughts as she receives a letter from Macbeth. And in this letter, she starts to express her thoughts about the prophecies that have been uttered about Macbeth through the witches. So within this extract, if you guys have a read, and I've shared the link on the video description, I want you to really pick apart the key phrases, the key ideas that Lady Macbeth is expressing. And as we read through this extract, we get this sense that she's someone who is highly ambitious. She's very determined to get Macbeth to fulfill his endeavors and this prophecy that has been outlined. And even though she's a woman and she's meant to be on the side of her husband, she feels a lot of doubt towards him. She feels as though he's this weak person who's unable to fulfill the purpose or the path that has been set out for him. So if we take apart some of the quotes and we'll analyze them in a lot of detail, and this will prove useful revision for you, because I'm going to share with you some quotes which you should memorize and which you should know really well, because they give us a very perceptive insight into Lady Macbeth's role in the entire play. So now, from the extract, what I've done is I've picked apart some quotes. And she says in the first one, "My dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee." So if we see here, she starts off with this idea of dearest partner of greatness. She sees herself as a partner to Macbeth of this greatness. It's as though she believes that she is worthy of this greatness. So again, she's challenging her status, her role in society as a woman. She sees herself as an equal to Macbeth, which women didn't in the Jacobean era. But then, rather than allow him to fulfill this greatness, she constantly belittles and attacks Macbeth. And this is interesting because we know that Macbeth has this reputation as being great, noble, this heroic character, this masculine and dominant figure. Yet at the first opportunity, she attacks this image that has been built up for the audience. So she says that he is ignorant of what greatness is promised to him. So when she's calling him ignorant, we question Macbeth's representation. So we know that he's brave, he's noble, he's valiant, but she's calling him ignorant. So she's attacking his mindset, his mentality. And it's as though she's saying that he hasn't got the potential to fulfill this without her help. And this idea of greatness, Macbeth is promised this greatness, but Lady Macbeth doubts that he can fulfill it. And if we look at the second quote, she says, "Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness." So she fears Macbeth and she fears his nature, although he's this strong, commanding person. She fears his mentality, whether he'll be able to navigate through the challenges and obstacles that will come his way in order for him to fulfill this prophecy and become the king. She says, his existence is too full of the milk of human kindness. And it's interesting that she mentions full of the milk of human kindness. So milk we know is associated with innocence, with purity. So she's saying that Macbeth is full of these attributes and he has too much kindness. In other words, he hasn't got a ruthless streak to fulfill the prophecy. Milk is also an attribute which is associated with women as they produce the milk. But here she's attacking Macbeth's masculinity, and it shows that she has no faith in him or a lack of faith within him to, bring or build this massive status and establish himself as a greater authority in society. She then goes on to say, "Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue." So this quote always stands out to me, and I find it fascinating that she says, "Come closer, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear." It's interesting that she chooses the word spirits and associates herself with the supernatural. She establishes this connection between herself and the supernatural, which is continued throughout the extract. And when she says, "I may pour my spirits in thine ear," it's as though Macbeth's this empty vessel, this empty container that she's just going to fill up. She's going to pour her influence, pour her spirits, pour her ideas into his ear and use him to navigate and control the situations that will arise. And even if you think about the play Hamlet, where the reference is made to ear and poison is poured in someone's ear in order to murder them. So this imagery again strikes a lot of connections to Shakespeare's ideas. She then says, "And chastise with the valor of my tongue." Valor was mentioned earlier in reference to Macbeth, but here we see a different type of valor and influence, this supremacy, which she will establish through her tongue, through the speech, through her communication with Macbeth. So she wants to manipulate and control Macbeth as though he's this puppet. And again, why is she being presented like this? If she's a woman, or if she's a woman of that era, she's going against the established stereotypes within society. She's presented as having this assertive, dominating tone. She's constantly using imperatives to show this ruthless streak that she has and how she wants to influence her husband. So she has no trust in her husband to do what he should be doing in order to gain power, but rather she wants him to gain these positions of authority and finally gain the position of king through her guidance and through her blueprint. If we look at the next quote, she then starts to plead with these spirits, and it's as though she wants to feel more empowered and dominating in order to fulfill her purpose. So she says, "Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse." So again, this sense of an imperative tone. She wants her blood to be thickened, but she wants herself to be stopped from feeling a sense of remorse. And this is very interesting because she's calling upon her blood to be made in a way where she doesn't feel guilt. Because we know as humans, when we do something bad, if we do a sin or a crime or an action that might affect others negatively, we feel this sense of remorse, this sense of guilt. But Lady Macbeth wants all of that to be stopped. She just wants herself to be this determined individual who has no attachment to feelings. So in sense of doing this, it shows that if you think of remorse as a religious term, she's detaching herself from her religious identity. And that then leads us to the next quote where she says, "Take my milk for gall." And again, this idea of milk, which was mentioned earlier, where she spoke about Macbeth being full of the milk of human kindness. She wants to replace her milk, her feminine attributes, her sense of innocence and purity, and she wants to replace it with gall, which we know can be a poisonous substance. So she wants to fill herself up with all of these hideous, these poisonous, infectious substances and remove all of her purity so that she's filled with this sense of cruelty. And if she has all of this within her, then she can fulfill her purpose, which is to attain power through Macbeth. And this is the first impression that we get of Lady Macbeth. And what I'd like you to think about is, through this representation, or through this presentation actually of Lady Macbeth, does Shakespeare defy the social norms of women? He's challenging us to think about the role of women in society. So is he empowering the role of society, is he empowering the role of women, the status of women in society, or is he actually attacking them through this presentation of Lady Macbeth? She goes against the stereotypes. So is Shakespeare trying to achieve something positive here by establishing Lady Macbeth in this sense as being a powerful, independent, strong-willed woman, or rather is he attacking the whole perception of society towards women? So that's a question that we need to think about and really get to grips with as we venture into the rest of the play. So I hope you found something beneficial from this video. What I would suggest is you memorize a lot of these phrases from what Lady Macbeth says, as these have a lot of insight for us, and you can definitely use them in your exam preparation, in your essays, in order to critically analyze the character of Lady Macbeth. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you like and subscribe. Leave some comments and feedback on anything else that you'd like to see. And stay tuned to the rest of the series, in which I will analyze the characters and the themes and get you closer to that grade 9. Thank you for watching and see you next time.